Alright, we're going to be going over a card review. So this will be my first one. And first, we are going to go into the collection and see how the cards will synergize with one another. So first, we're going to start off with the grimy games. The first one is the Grime Street Smuggler. 3 mana, 2/4 with Battle Cry. Give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. Well, it's a 3 mana, 3/5, basically, but tempo comes later. So it's not really good. It's a horrible card. It's not gonna be played ever. Now, I mean, it could be, considering the cards that we have, but no, that's not gonna work. I guarantee it. It's not gonna be played. Second, we have the Grime Street Informant. 2 mana, 1/1. Discover a Hunter, Paladin, or Warrior card. This is a very interesting card because if you're playing Control Warrior, you can discover it's one of each, I believe. So you can discover a Hunter card, and Hunter cards are very aggressive, but a lot of them are controlled too, like Deadly Shot, like Freezing Trap, like Snake Trap. Well, Snake Trap's more like face hunter, but a lot of them are like control-y cards, if you know what I mean, like Explosive Shot. That's a very control card, like Gladiator's Longbow. This would lead to very interesting games, and I think this card will see some play, but it won't see any play in Hunter, and it might see some play in Paladin. But Paladin, we'll get on to Paladin later. So we are going to move on to the Jade Lotus. This is the Druid, Rogue, and Shaman synergies. So these three, the Shaman, Rogue, and Druid, are all going to be you can discover one card from each of these, and the first and only one that's been released is the Jade Lotus. The Jade Lotus is a 5 mana, 5/3. Discover a Druid, Rogue, and Shaman card. This will be very interesting in probably Druid. I would guess this would see the most play in Druid, because Druid, because Druid is a very good class, and if you discover more cards, like the problem with Druid right now is that it doesn't discover enough, or it doesn't have enough cards. So this will enable it to have more cards. Alright, on to the next card, the Cabal. So, the next section of cards. So this would be Mage, Priest, and Warlock. This is what I'm really excited for. So the first one is Cabal Courier. It is a 3 mana, 2/2. Discover a Warlock, Mage, or Priest card. This will be very interesting in Priest, especially because Priest is getting very strong after this expansion. I wouldn't say too strong, but I would say it's definitely getting a buff. It's going to be at least a tier 2 deck, if not a tier 1. This will be very interesting in Priest because it will lead to Priest having more cards. The biggest problem with Priest right now is that it doesn't have enough cards. Like, it doesn't have enough card draw. The biggest card draw is this and this. This doesn't see play very often, and this is a really good card, but it still doesn't see that much play. So that will enable it to draw more cards. Kazakus. This is the Next, we are on to Alright, we're on to Druid. So, the first Druid card that I see that's kind of interesting is a 1 mana Druid. 1 mana, 1/1, or 1 mana, give your minions +1/+1. Now this is a spell, and it is a very strong spell, but you won't play it on turn 1. So the question is, how long do you hold on to it? Because if you hold on to it too long, then I don't think it's really worth the value. If you played Violet Teacher, on turn 4, and then you innervated Power of the Wild, and then you play along with Power of the Wild, Mark of the Lotus. It's a very strong combo. But do you really want to add a 1 mana spell and give your minions +1/+1? Now this is a strong spell, don't get me wrong. But I think it's just like you have to hold on to it too long and it won't see very much play. Like it'll see play, but it won't see very much play. Next we have the Druid card, Lunar Visions. Draw 2 cards. Minions drawn cost 2 less. This won't see any play. I'm calling it. Because you draw 2 cards and they cost 2 less. So it's a 5 mana. It's a 1 mana draw 2 cards basically. But you're drawing 2 cards over 3 cards. With this, sometimes you just want cards in your hand and it doesn't really matter. Whenever you play like Nourish, you want to play cards. You want to play like cards that are you want to draw cards. Like if you play Lunar Visions, if you top deck Lunar Visions, it really doesn't matter unless you draw like 2 7 draws, which would be absolutely insane. But actually, wait. If you draw 2 4 drops, that would be kind of insane because you could play both the 4 drops with the thing, but I still don't think it'll see very much play because you just draw like 1 card and it's a 7 drop, like Ancient of War. If you draw Ancient of War, you can play you can draw Ancient of War and play it on the same turn. But I still don't think it'll see very much play because you're drawing 2 cards. This you're drawing 3 cards. Alright. Sometimes you just want cards in your hand. Pilfered Power. 3 mana. Get an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion. This is a very strong card. If aggro Druid was a thing, but it's not. I mean, you could play Enchanted Raven and Druid of the Saber, and then play this on turn 3 and gain 2 mana crystals, which that's pretty good actually. But you wouldn't run this. You wouldn't run Enchanted Raven and Druid of the Saber and a Bramp Druid, so I don't think this will see any play whatsoever. Now finally for the legendary Druid card, 10 mana, 7/7. Choose one. Gain 10 armor or refresh your mana crystals. Now, this is alright. I don't think it'll see very much play, purely because you don't have very many opportunities where you can play 2 things on turn 10 as a druid. Normally, if you're playing ramp druid, you run Astral Communion, and it doesn't really do anything for you, because if you just have one, you get 10 armor basically, because you don't want to refresh your mana crystals if you have one card, and Kun is the only one. Now, the possible combo people see with this is Aviana into Kun, but Aviana won't be even that good, because Aviana into Kun, because you probably won't have that many cards in your hand at that time anyways. That's my point. Alright, we're on to Hunter. The first card that Blizzard has released in Hunter is Shaky Zip Gunner. 3 mana, 3/3, give a random friendly minion in your hand +2/2. So, what this synergizes really well with are the neutral cards and the Dispatch Coda. We'll get onto the synergies later once we run into the cards. But it's a 3 mana 3/3, give a random friendly minion in your hand +2/2. So it's a 3 mana 5/5, but you get tempo back later. So is it good? It's tough to say, because the reason I'm like devaluing these cards so much is because Shaman already has this effect. It's called the worst card in the game, the Miscaller. And this is like your entire hand in your entire deck. And it doesn't see any play. So I don't think that this will see very much play, but I could be wrong. Because 3 mana 5/5 is pretty good, but you get the +2/2 on a later turn, so it doesn't really matter. Next, we have the Trog Beastinator. Next, we have the Trog Beast Rager. It is a 3 mana 2/3/2, give a random beast in your hand +1/+1. So it is practically a 2 mana 3/2. That's all it is. These cards that I'm mentioning, will be absolutely insane in Arena, because you get value later. So these cards will just be absolutely insane. But not in Constructive. Constructive works differently. Like, because it's primarily mid-ranged right now. But I don't know how good it will be in Constructive, because it's very like late game type of cards. So I don't know if it'll be any good or not. Honestly, I'm evaluating the cards based on what the meta is now and how much these cards will really change the meta. Next, we have Dispatch Coda. 4 mana, 2/4, battle cry, deal damage equal to this minion's attack. Now you can buff it with the Shaky Zip Gunner or the Trog Beast Rager, because Dispatch Coda is obviously a beast. So you can buff it with either. And you do get value back. So you get basically a 4 mana 2/4. Druid already had that, but it got nerfed. Keeper of the Grove, 3 mana or 4 mana 2/4. It used to be a 2/4. Deal 2 damage, and this was played all the time. may I say. So I think this card will actually see some play. Actually, I think this card will see a lot of play in a lot of hunter decks. Honestly, I think Frog Beast Rager will see some play in beasts and hunter decks. Because of the synergy between the two. Now, this by far is my favorite card in the hunter slot. 5 mana, 2/4 Piranha Launcher. It's a weapon. 5 mana, 2 damage, 4 durability. Whenever you attack, summon a 1/1 Piranha. So this is a value heavy, insanely good card. But it's a 2/4. Does Hunter ever want a 2/4 weapon? No. So this won't see any play, sadly. Now, Blizzard stupidly added the single most OP card that will make Smork Hunters come back. 3 mana, 2/2, Rat Pack, Death Rattle, summon a number of 1/1 rats equal to this minion's attack. Now, why do you have to do this, Blizzard? You know what? They already have a card like that. Oh, that's why I can't see it. They already have a card like this. It's called Infested Wolf. It's a 4 mana 3/3. Summon 2 1/1 spiders. It's a 3 mana 2/2. Summon 2 1/1 rats, basically. This will see a lot of play. This will see play in every single hunter deck on the ladder. And whenever you queue up against this card, you're gonna be salty. And you're gonna be like, why no skill? And Blizzard fucked up again. So finally, the last card. Knuckles. 5 mana, 3/7. When this minion, after this attacks a minion, it also hits the enemy hero. This card is very interesting, and I think it will see a lot of play in hunter decks. I don't think it'll be in every single hunter deck, but I think it will see a lot of play. Because it essentially is like a weapon. It allows you to clear a minion and go face with your minion, kind of. But you do exhaust life from it. So I think it'll see some play. On to Mage, the only Mage card released. 3 mana, 3/4 Battle Cry. Choose a minion, shuffle a copy into your deck. That's really good. It's almost like Shadowcaster, except Shadowcaster puts it in your hand. The possible combo that I could see with this is like, I don't know. Actually, I don't think it'll be that good, because it'll be good in like Tempo Mage, but I don't think it'll be good in any other deck archetype. Because mages really don't have minions, so I don't think it'll see any play. On to Paladin, since that was the only mage card. First card we have is the Grime Street Outfitter. Battle Cry. 2 mana 1/1. Battle Cry, give all your minions in your hand +1/+1. This card's broken. I hate it so much. It's so OP. So you can, well, I'll get onto the synergies later. Basically, they're making aggro paladin good again. Next we have Smuggler's Run. Give all minions in your hand +1/+1. So you can play this, and then you can play a 2-mana 2/2 Grime Street Outfitter, and then you can just win the game from there. I mean, it doesn't really matter that you lose tempo at the start because you're playing a 2-mana 2/2, and then you're playing a 3-mana, probably 5, based on average stats, a 3-mana 5/5, and then you're gonna play a 4-mana 4/2 weapon. It's just like, this is broken. Now, this card in Paladin, the next card we have, is a 1-mana secret, Getaway Coda. When a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand. This is a very well put together card, because it has very extremely good implications. It's not like Redemption. It's not an annoying card like Redemption. Redemption is basically 1 mana, give your minion Death Rattle, resummon this minion. It's basically what Redemption is. Grime Street, it returns it to your hand, so that way, if you kill a minion on your turn, then you can replay it, and especially if it's a charge. So if you play like Leroy Jenkins, not like, cause Leroy Jenkins is a bad example, but if you play like, let's see, I can't think of any good chargers. But I mean, if you have a minion on the board, and then you attack into another minion, it returns it to your hand, so that way you can play it again. So I think it's very interesting, and it's a very well put together card. Next we have Grime Street Enforcer. 5 mana 4/4. At the end of your turn, give all minions in your hand +1/+1. This card won't see any play. Next we have a 7 mana 6/6 with Taunt. Grime Street Protector. Battlecry, give adjacent minions Divine Shield. This card is not that good because it's a 7 mana 6/6. If it was a 3 mana 2/2 with Taunt and give adjacent minions Divine Shield, it would be the most broken card in the game. But luckily it's not. Next we have 3 mana spell, Small Time Recruits. Draw 3 1-cost minions from your deck. This card has very good implications because it makes the card good, basically. I mean, like, it makes aggro paladin good because you draw your 1-drop minions, which you want to draw out. Like, if you're playing like a mid-range paladin, then I don't think aggro paladin will be that good, but I think mid-range paladin will be really good. So if you run like 4 or 5 1-drops, then you can play Small Time Recruits on turn 3, and it'll be pretty good, but I don't think it'll be that good. Next we have Mean Street Marshal. 1 mana 1/2. If this minion has 2 or more attack, Death Rattle. That's important because you can buff it. Death Rattle. If this minion has 2 or more attack, draw a card. That's alright because it gives your minions, it lets you play it on turn 1, and then if you buff it enough, then you can draw a card. If you buff it with Silver Moon Portal, or, well, Silver Moon Portal is too late of a card. I think it'll die by then. So if you play, not even Seal of Champions, but if you play like Divine Strength, double Divine Strength on turn 2, if you play, oh my god, do I not have it? If you play, oh, it's a basic card, that's why. If you play Blessing of Might, you can buff it and then ram it into a 2-drop minion or another 1-drop, or just go phase with it, and when your opponent kills it, you still draw a card. So it's a pretty good card. Next we have the legendary 3 mana 2/2 Divine Shield Taunt. Deal damage dealt by this minion also heals your hero. Now this minion is alright. I wouldn't overplay this minion because even if you buff it, this card starts to become insane. I think Paladin will end up being one of the most OP cards, but OP classes. But if you play this card, healing your hero doesn't really matter, because like this card would be ram and aggro Paladin, honestly. So I don't think it'll really matter that much. Next up we have Priest. First card we have is 1 mana. Gain control of an enemy minion with 2 or less attack until the end of the turn. This card is the most insane card that Priest has ever had, I think. This card, if you play it, you can essentially clear the person forward if you play it on turn 1. Because you wouldn't play this on turn 1 though, you'd play it on turn 2. So I'm not sure it would be that good, but it would definitely be extremely strong, because you can clear. If you have if you're playing against a Hunter, and I know Hunter will be played, and he plays Fiery Bat on turn 1, then he plays Trog, the Trog Beast Rager on turn 2, you can kill his Trog Beast Rager, and you get 1 damage to D2, so that's not that bad. The next card for Priest, we have Cabal Talon Priest. 3 mana, 3/4, battle cry, give a friendly minion +3 health. Come on, Blizzard, why would you release the same card twice? And this card will be the most broken card. Can I say, this card will be the most broken card in Arena if you have a 2-drop. In Arena, or in Constructed, it'll be alright, because it's a battle cry, and Priests normally don't have that many minions on the board by turn 2, 3, so it'll be alright. In Dragon Priest, it'll be pretty insane. Now, for the next card, we have Draconid Operative. It's 5 mana, 5/6. If you're holding a dragon, discover a card in your opponent's deck. This card's very interesting. Very interesting. Because it lets you choose a card out of your opponent's deck, which, that's not RNG. It's RNG, but it's 1 out of 10, basically. So you get to choose what card you want out of 10 cards. The next card we have is a 1 mana spell, Pint-Sized Potion. Give all enemy minions -3 attack this turn. This card will be pretty insane if the opponent has a board. If the opponent does not have a board, then that card will not see any play whatsoever. Or if you have a board, because you as priest, you normally don't have a board. These are pretty much the cards you play. You play Injured Blade Master. You play Injured Blade Master. And you play and Dragon Priest though. This is the interesting part. In Dragon Priest, you play Twilight Wisp, and then you play the 2 mana 1/4 if you're holding a Dragon Game Taunt plus Whimrest Agent. So it's kind of interesting. I think this will be definitely a good card if you have a board. So I don't think it'll see any play. It'll see play in Arena, definitely. Like this card, it's basically a 1 mana board player in Arena. Next we have the card that you will despise whenever you play Priest. 6 mana spell, Dragon Fire Potion. Deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. This card will be so good in Dragon Priest. Especially since Dragon Priest doesn't see any play right now, but after this expansion, since it's a board clear, it'll see a lot of play. It'll see the most play out of all the Priest decks, I guarantee it. Because it's basically deal 5 damage to all enemy minions, so it's a strictly better Flame Strike. Like it's a way better Flame Strike, because Flame Strike is 7 mana, deal 4 damage. This is 6 mana, deal 5 damage. I know it's to all minions, but normally you're gonna be playing Dragon Priest. In Dragon Priest, you have dragons, so they aren't gonna be effective. Next, we have my personal favorite, Rogue. Good old Rogue. For the first card they have released, it is a 0 mana spell, Counterfeit Coin. Gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. So basically, it's the coin. This is the worst card they have ever printed in Hearthstone history. But if Priest is the dominant class, because then Rogue will be the second dominant class, because Miracle is such a strong force against control. It's strictly better against control. So it obviously goes good in Miracle. It basically replaces Tomb Pillager whenever Tomb Pillager rotates out. But you'll have Tomb Pillager and you'll have Counterfeit Coin. So it's pretty good, but I don't think you would take deck slots for another coin. Next we have the Lotus Agent. 5 mana, 5/5 stealth. Whenever this kills a minion, gain stealth. This card, whenever I first saw it, I thought this card was the most insane card. But you don't want to trade whenever you're playing Miracle. You do want to trade, but whenever you trade, I don't think you want to trade that often whenever you're playing Miracle, because you mainly just want to keep your minions like stealth and try to win the game from whenever you play Gadgetzan. I think this will see some play, but not very successfully. And then we have the final road card, Shaku the Collector. 3 mana, 2/3, stealth. Whenever this attacks, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. So it's basically a horrible Undercity Huckster. Yep. With stealth. Why, Blizzard? You had to release the worst card ever. Currently, we have no Shaman cards, so we can just skip over Shaman for now. Warlock. We currently have no cards for Warlock either. That's why I'm very cautious about saying that the counterfeit coin will be good, because we haven't seen any cards from Warlock, which is Zoolock, and Shaman, which is the dominant class on ladder right now. Warrior class cards. We have a 1 mana spell, discover a taunt minion. It's pretty good. I don't think it'll see too much play, but it's alright card. I'll give it like some possibility. This is a must pick in arena, in arena, by the way, because taunts are pretty good in arena. Now we have the next card is 4 mana, 4/3, Grimy Gadgetzan. At the end of your turn, give a random minion in your hand +2/+2. This card is actually not that bad, because Warrior has a lot of control cards, so I think it'll be very successful in completing a control-oriented deck that relies on tempo. Stolen. Now, next we have a 2 mana spell, Stolen Goods. Give a random minion taunt. Give a random taunt minion in your hand +3/+3. So if Bolster Warrior is a thing, then this card will definitely see play. But Bolster Warrior seeing play is like pigs flying on a Monday. Next we have 5 mana, 2/7, Ally Armorsmith with taunt. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much armor. This card is trash. Next card, we have 3 mana, 3/3, Grime Street Pawnbroker. Battlecry, give a random weapon in your hand +1/+1. A Curse Blade, no. But this card will see a lot of play in Warriors, because Warriors run a lot of weapons, and weapons are very good in Warrior, especially against Fool's Bane. Fool's Bane is such a good card, but you do take too much damage whenever you play it. But I think with the buff, with the 4, and you can attack multiple times, that's pretty insane. And especially on Gorehell. I don't think it'll actually make too much of a difference on Gorehell, because you can attack face once for 8, and then you can attack face again for 8, which is 16 damage over 2 turns. It's just really good if you're pushing for lethal. It might, I don't know. It's too early to tell, honestly, because they haven't released that many warrior cards. The last warrior card we have is a 4-mana, 2/3 weapon. Thorum Knuckles. Whenever your hero attacks, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. Holy shit, that's broken. I mean, played with the 3-mana 3/3 on turn 3. Battlecry, the Grime Street Pawnbroker. This card is really good, I have to say. Just bottom line. Now, next we have the legendary neutral cards. First we have Finja the Flying Star. 5 mana, 2/4. Whenever this minion attacks and kills a minion, summon 2 Murlocs from your deck. It's really good with buffs. And if you're playing Paladin, and you're playing an aggro Murloc Paladin with Vilefin and stuff, this would be really good, actually. Because you can buff it multiple times, and it summons more Murlocs out of your deck, so this will see very much play. If you're playing Murloc Paladin. It is a 5-mana 2/4 on its own, so it's not that good. But it does summon 2 Murlocs out of your deck. 2 Murlocs. The only downside I see to this card is that you have to attack and kill a minion. Like, your opponent can't attack into it, and then your opponent's minion dies. You yourself have to attack into it. So I don't think it'll be that good. But who knows? Next we have 1 mana, 1/1 Patches the Pirate, which is obviously a pirate, with charge. After you play a pirate, summon this minion from your deck. So if you don't draw it, then it's a tempo boost. But if you do draw it, then it really sucks, because it's like Boar. And even if you do pull it out of your deck, it's like a better Boar. But Boar is not that good, so I don't think it'll see any play. Auctioneer Beardo. 3 mana, 3/4. After you cast a spell, refresh your hero power. This won't see any play. Next card. We have Fell Orc Soul Fiend. 3 mana, 3/7. At the start of your turn, deal 2 damage to this minion. This card sucks. Next card. 6 mana, 5/5. Wind up, Burglepot. Whenever this attacks Next we have a 6 mana, 5/5. Wind up, Burglepot. It's a mech. Whenever this attacks a minion and survives, draw a card. It's the same mechanic with Finja the Flying Star, but it kinda sucks. Next we have a 2 mana, 2/6 with Taunt. And Battlecry, your opponent summons a random minion from their hand. This copies a lot of Deathlord. But if your opponent doesn't have any minions in their hand and they're playing an aggro deck, they get really punished. But it's a 2 mana card, so they'll have to have at least a minion in their hand, even if they're playing aggro. So I don't think it'll see that much play. Alright, next we have Doppelganger. 5 mana, 2/2, summon 2 copies of this minion. This card is really, really, really good. It'll see so much play. And probably, if Paladin plays a mid-range Paladin, then it'll see so much play in mid-range Paladin. Mid-range buff Paladin. But if that's not a thing, then I don't think this card will see any play. In Arena, this card is insane. Even if you don't buff it, it's insane. This is 5 mana, 6/6. And if you do buff it, then it's even more insane. Next we have 5 mana, 4/5. Taunt, costs 2 less if your opponent has 3 minions. 3 minions by turn 3? It's alright. I don't think it'll see any play though, especially with the way the game's going. And there's like so many anti-aggro cards that they've had to release like such like tremendously an insane amount of like insane aggro cards if they want aggro to survive, or at least mid-range to survive. I think it'll be a control meta, but you never know because Shaman and Warlock cards have not been released yet, so we'll wait and see. Next we have 4 mana, 4/4, Backroom Bouncer. Whenever a friendly minion dies, gain +1 attack. Really, Blizzard? Really? That card doesn't copy off of any other card in the game, does it? Except this card has better stats because it's a 4 mana 4/4. That's a 3 mana 2/3. If it was a 3 mana 3/3, they'd be the exact same card. I don't think it'll see any play. Next we have Kooky Chemist. Battle cry, swap the attack and health of a minion. That'll be pretty good. I mean, pretty good. I think it's really interesting. After that we have Mistress of Mixtures, 1 mana 2/2, Death Rattle, restored 4 health to both players. This is another anti-aggro card. This card is so good. You might run it in Zoo though, because at first you don't want to. At first you like kind of want to. You want to control the board, so you might run it in Zoo just to control the board at first, and then like start going face, start smorking it up. But I don't think you would. Next we have a 2 mana 2/3. At the beginning of your turn, restore 1 health to your hero. This won't see any play, but it's kind of interesting. Alright, next we have 5 mana 3/5, Grufu Master with Wind Fury. I think this card will actually see some amount of play because it's like a 4 mana 3/5. It's alright, right? A 3 mana 3/5. In arena. This is in arena. This is not constructive. This won't see any play in constructive. In arena, this will be like a 70 card, I would say. A 70 tier sword card. It's pretty good. Next we have a 4 mana 6/3 Worgen Greaser with no text. This won't see any play. It's not even good in Arena, in my opinion. Next we have 3 mana 4/3 Hired Gun with Taunt. This card, really, Blizzard? Really? You just wasted like 3 or 4 deck slots with these shitty cards. We have that, so they decided to release a 1 mana greater version of it, and it's a direct power creep over Ironfur Grizzly 2. They did so at first they decided to make a power creep over Frostwolf Grunt and make it pompous, and then they made a Grizzly, Ironfur Grizzly, into Hired Gun. Sad, Blizzard. Next we have Bluegill Sniper. 2 mana, 2/1, deal 1 damage. And it's a Murloc. This is a really good card, and I hope it sees some play in Murloc decks, and I hope Murloc decks are actually pretty good. I wish Blizzard would push a Murloc meta, but they won't. Murloc decks have always kind of been in the meta, but not really. Next we have, and for the last card, we have a 6 mana 1/1 Big Time Racketeer. Battlecry, summon a 6/6 Ogre. This is really good. It's a 6 mana 7/7. It'll be really good in mid-ranged and in control, and maybe even in aggro, a slower aggro though. I wouldn't call it a mid-range, but it's somewhere between mid-range and aggro. Anyways, that's gonna be all for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.